Hey everybody, this is Don with Desert Mofo, and for today I'm going to be telling you guys about the things I hate about my Iron 883. Alright, but before we get into that, I've got two announcements. The first one is that I'll be filming the final episode of the Modern Squids 3-episode launch this Sunday, and I'm hoping that that means that my podcast will be launched the week after. Right, and the second announcement that I'd like to make are the guests on the podcast. So like I said, I'll have 3 episodes launching on launch day, and my first guest is Star Alvarez, and she's better known as Star Bobber 11 on Instagram, and I believe it's just Star Bobber on YouTube. She rides an Indian Scout, and she also has an FTR. She's worked with Indian, the company, in a magazine, and she's done some voiceover work for them and such. So if you like Star Bobber, you like Indian motorcycles, and you want to hear a bit about what's going on, make sure you tune in. Now, the second episode actually has 2 guests. They are the owners and founders of women's motorcycle apparel company Chic Riot, and I really like these guys. Number one, because their personalities are fantastic, and number two, they make some of the coolest women's riding gear out there. When I first started getting into motorcycles and I was following different motorcycle influencers, I was going through Instagram, and most of the women's riding apparel seemed to be pretty much like black leather, brown leather. It all just kind of looked like men's gear, but once in a while I would see someone who looked really cool, and I would kind of do the little tap on the photo to see who was tagged in it in case they were tagging the brand, and 9 times out of 10 it was a Chic Riot jacket or Chic Riot pants in the photo. I've got a bit of an interest in fashion because when I was doing my photography business before the whole current situation, I had started branching into fashion photography. Anyway, so definitely tune in to them. They're a lot of fun. That's Tabitha and Kid. They're the owners of Chic Riot. If you've never heard of Chic Riot, well, shame on you. You got to tune in and hear their story. Go to their website, check out all their gear. Now, the final guest for launch day is Doodle on a Motorcycle, and I'm supposed to talk to her on Sunday and get that interview knocked out. If you are someone who enjoys watching motorcycle content on YouTube, then you've likely come across Doodle at some point. She's super bubbly, super friendly, and if you watch her videos, you know that she's a bit funny too. So, those are the announcements. Now let's get into the things I hate about my Iron 883. So the first thing that I hate about my Iron 883 are the mirrors. So, I named my Iron Willow, and I love Willow. Overall, she is fucking amazing, but she has created a Sophie's Choice for me, and every day I wonder if I've made the right choice. And what that is the positioning of the goddamn mirrors. So, my right mirror, if I position it in a way that I can actually use it to see behind me, then it clanks against my damn tank if I turn the bars too far to the right. So essentially I have to either just deal with the fact that my tank is going to get dinged up by my mirror slapping the side of the tank anytime I want to make a sharp right, or I need to position my mirror in such a way that it basically is useless. And personally, I like to know what's happening behind me. I mean, I can see out of the left one fine, and it doesn't ding up the tank, but I would prefer a better view. So right now, my Sophie's choice has been to deal with a tank that gets a little bit dinged up. The second thing that I hate about my Iron 883, well, it's neutral. Once again, Willow is screwing with me. She's made it a game, and she calls this game hide and seek with neutral. So anytime I'm stopped somewhere, if I want to put it in neutral, I never know if I'm going to get it. Sometimes, super easy, you know? I go up a little bit from first gear, boom, I'm in neutral, no problem. And sometimes, no matter how often I try to get into neutral, it just isn't possible. It's impossible. So what I'll end up doing is just shutting the bike off. And that's usually when I'm just stopped somewhere to like check my phone or whatever. But yeah, hide and seek with neutral. That is not a fun game. All right, the next thing I hate about my Iron 883 is the seat. The interesting part about this criticism of the Iron is that the seat that I have is supposedly a better seat than what the Irons came with originally when they introduced them in this style. Which is crazy to me because I only get about 30 minutes of seat time before my ass starts to just say, get a new seat, bub. Alright, and the final thing that I hate about my Iron 883 is the tank. Now this is one that I knew about going in to the situation. I knew 3.3 gallons was not a big tank. And it's actually the thing that I hate the least about the Iron of these 5 things that I've mentioned. And I will kind of expand on this a little bit in that although I say I knew going into it that the tank was small and that I'd have to fill up a decent amount, I think there's a difference between knowing something intellectually and actually experiencing it when you're riding around. So, you know, I still wouldn't have gone with a different bike, but it would have been nice to have a bit of a bigger tank. You know, now would I make the choice of getting a bigger tank if it was a different shape? No, because I love the shape of this tank and it's one of my favorite things about the bike. So unless they could maintain the shape, then I just wouldn't. I wouldn't change it because I would rather deal with having to get gas a bit more than having the other shapes of tanks that they put on the Harleys. Alright guys, well, that was the 5 things that I hate about my Iron. Now, I'm going to kind of walk it back a little bit here at the end and say all the things I've mentioned are mostly just inconveniences. And I'm sure I'll be able to work it out over time. And it does not really take away from the fact that I absolutely love my Iron. But nevertheless, they are issues. And if anyone's kind of considering what to buy, if you're not as concerned about aesthetics as I am, because as I've mentioned a few times in previous videos, you know, I love photography, and one of my primary considerations when getting the bike was how it would look so I could take some cool photos. If that's not a concern to you, but some of these other things are, they're definitely worth taking note of. And I've tried to ask other Iron owners about the mirror thing, and no one else is seeming to have the problem that I'm having. So it could specifically be due to my height and riding position that I'm having such issue with the mirrors. And maybe if you're a little bit taller or a little bit shorter, you won't have this issue either. As far as seat comfort is concerned, I think that it's pretty common for Harley seats stock to be uncomfortable, so I don't know if choosing a different bike, a different Harley anyway, would have made much of a difference in that regard. Alright, well, I am going to... Oh, you know what? I was just about to say my outro, but I forgot to mention that I finally think I found a mount for my front-facing GoPro that works, but also doesn't ding my tank like the first one I tried. So hopefully in this video you guys are seeing a bit of me as well, instead of just the scenery. So yeah, go me. Alright, time for the outro, guys. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, this is Don with Desert Mofo, and I make motorcycle-related content. I do interviews with folks, and yeah, if you enjoy that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, thumbs down. Tell me why I suck in the comments. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one. So, there are definitely days that I've been riding the Iron that I thought to myself, again? You're thirsty again, Willow? Ah, god damn it. Talking and riding at the same time. Ah, I'm in third gear. God damn, no wonder I killed it. Ah, fucking A. I jacked all this up.